Hello everyone, this is Jaden Plyer coming back to you with Kiel's Elves for Season 4, Episode 3 of the Mighty Youth Podcast. Now that we're starting off with our Season 4, you've watched all the others, hopefully. You've watched all the others, and now we've got a brand new topic here for you on a brand new couch. Do you know what our topic is, John?
Money.
Wait, real? Yes, that's right. Our topic for today is none other than how should you invest in Bitcoin, when and where. But for real though, our actual topic is about handling finances as a youth. With our first segment being about, drumroll,
high school,
where we'll be talking about how you can manage your allowance as a new upcoming high school student. And our second topic being about
College.
where we'll be talking about how you start earning part-time and how you manage that time effectively. But a step up from part-time, last but not least, is of course
a full-time work.
where the best part is we learn about how we can finance and steward towards God's kingdom. Without further ado, let's take it away to our youngest youth in the room. Without further ado, let's give it up to the youngest youth in this room to start us off, Ezekiel Toller.
Thank you, Kuya Jaden, and what a very nice intro. And in my opinion, it's not that easy, but it's not that hard to spend, considering I'm homeschool, so I kind of just get up and then start to study. But yeah, ever since last year, I've gotten an allowance of like 50 dirhams per month, and then eventually it increased to 100 dirhams per month since there's events that I go to. And there are things that I like to buy, but I can't buy them all the time because I have to manage my money. So in my opinion, it's like kind of one-sided, I guess, because it's like you want to buy it, but you can't because you need to save for other things, and you need to save that money for other things, for even better things that you could either buy or invest into.
Kiel, what are the stuff that you buy or you spend on to usually?
Wow, this is kind of weird, but even though I'm already like 14, I'm still buying toys with my money. But at the same time, I do buy other things to benefit me in like studying and like resources, for my laptop.
What toys?
Action figures. So yeah, I think that's about it. But in general, it's like on your mindset of how you spend that money. So you need to like think of when you should spend it and how you should spend it.
That's pretty fair. That's pretty fair indeed. But other than just a homeschooler, we've got someone in a hybrid class. Hybrid? Blended. Mixed. So many different words. Scrambled.
Everything.
But other than just a homeschooler, we've got a high school student in a blended, hybrid, mixed, scrambled class, whatever you call it. It's none other than Daniel Bautista. Take it away with the cake.
Yes, thank you, Jaden, for that wonderful introduction. Okay, so when I first started Blended when I was grade 11, something small but meaningful changed. My mom started giving me 35 dirhams per week, 10 for my no card loading, and 25 for my weekly allowance. So at first, I usually go to class on Tuesdays and Thursdays. At first, I thought, wow, I finally have money and freedom. I can go out wherever I want. But then I soon realized that I have to take care of this responsibly and handle it carefully. But honestly, some weeks I didn't manage my money and spending pretty well, spending too much on food after class when I was in a good mood, even though I had extra snacks packed with me with my packed lunch, or buying and indulging myself in things that I didn't really quite need, then stressing before the week ended. When my SGGI house group, shout out to Efficients of course, started to tackle our lesson 4 of financial stewardship, something changed in my mindset. I realized that it was not just a small amount of money or weekly allowance. It's something that God has entrusted to me. Stewardship means managing what belongs to him ultimately. In Luke 16:10 here says, "Whoever is faithful in little is faithful in much." This made me think, if I can't handle this small amount of money, how will I handle more in the future when it's given to me? Blended learning gave me the independence that I needed to start shifting in life. But stewardship has been teaching me discipline, to budget, delay self-indulgence, and leave something to give to God in return. So for me, this season isn't just about school anymore. It's about preparation, because God uses small responsibilities to prepare us for bigger ones.
Wait. Can I ask you a question?
Sure. Sure.
You said that null card was 10 dirham, right?
Yeah.
It's 20 right now. How does that work?
Okay, so the thing is, there's this small, we live nearby. Behind that is the bus station where I usually go to commute nearby. The machine there, it only charges up like below the limit we have now. It charges within like 5 and 10 still. So it's a good perk.
Should we keep that in? We're ratting it out. We're ratting that store out. We're ratting it. No.
Just to clarify, anything that's like in Sarja, they still sometimes keep that machine in, so it's just kind of like in Dubai. But as it's shown, even when you're in the thick of it, you can always trust in God to reliably spend your money. So as it's shown, even when you're in the thick of it, you can rely on God to be with you, even in the smallest of finances. But of course, we don't have the small things now. We gotta go bigger, greater, older, more senior. Take it away, John Leonard.
Boo. Thank you, Jaden. For me in college life, it's like what Daniel and what Kiel said. I'm also receiving allowance like every week, I guess. So every week before I go to college, my mom gives me 100, right, to spend throughout the week. So it's not like every day; it's throughout the week. So I have to really be mindful. And the thing is, every time I have to go to the metro, it costs like what, 3 dirhams, right? And for me, I know my pal JD, crossover. My pal JD loads his null card like with like 100, I think. I'm not sure. But for me, I do it 20 at a time. So that 20 really gets finished like a lot. Since it's like 3 dirhams per trip, so that's like 6 dirhams every day, right? So you can imagine how fast that will run out. Plus the expense that the food will take, right? For my lunch, my dinner, and I guess breakfast. So I have to really be smart with stewarding that. And of course, like what Kel said, we have like taxes. We have taxes and contributions in our ministries, in the youth ministry and also in the dance I have. So I have to really be smart about how I do that, right? And another thing that a college student could do, and I'm interested in this, is having part-time. Having a part-time really, you could really help your family out, right? For not just for normal everyday needs, but also for like rent, right? And then instead of being just a child, because when you're in college, it's that transition from being a child to an adult. And so when you consider that, you also consider, okay, now I'm starting to get into the territory of providing, right? That's how you get ready. And having a part-time really shows you, because having a part-time doesn't mean you're providing for the whole family, right? You're not the father. I'm not the father. So having a job can really help your family, because you can take some of the responsibility and the weight off of providing, right? So they don't have to just pay rent, pay food, everyday needs, and plus pay your tuition, right? You can at least contribute some of your stuff to that, right? And so if you really think about it, being in college really just prepares you, right? We all know the saying, broke college student, right? And for us, yeah, sometimes we are that, sometimes we're not, right? Sometimes we're just trying to do our best. So when we really take that into perspective, having to be responsible for your finances in this stage of life, it really prepares you for like what we're gonna touch on later, having a job, right? Work, and having actual big responsibilities, and eventually having children depend on you, right? So why did you look at me? So then we have to just be ready for that responsibility, and being in college really helps you do that. So on my part, I'm looking forward to finding a part-time job and helping my parents out, right? I have 2 siblings, and then one of them is gonna start to have schooling, right? So yeah.
Add into getting like a part-time job.
Yeah.
Like getting a part-time job will also expose you guys to the real world of the to the real world of the professional side, since being in the school or university is really far different when you're in the professional side, right? So if you get the part-time job, you'll get to see it in a different perspective, not just in helping your parents or like having your own money, but in a way also that you get to know what is really happening in job, and you'll get to appreciate it more. Because I remember when I had my part-time job, I appreciated my parents more because I realized that they needed to be there from 8 to 5 while I'm at home watching YouTube or whatever. So it's like you will really appreciate the blessed life that the Lord has given us through our parents.
Was that a question?
No, I just wanted to add into.
That's right. Truly, we youth are blessed by God to have such wonderful parents. Shout out to all the moms and dads watching this right now. But saving the best for last, the most amazing part of growing up and handling your finances is none other than a job! Led by none other than the greatest of all time, the GOAT, the undebatable champion, Atepia.
Okay, alright, so where do I start with a job? Okay, at first it felt overwhelming because I went from depending on my parents, asking my parents for money, and to earning a money for myself. So with that, I wanted to be more effective in being a steward of the blessing that the Lord has given, and we are really blessed to be under the lesson of financial stewardship in our house groups, right? So in there, we have been taught that whatever that we have is from God, and we are just a steward, we are just manager. So when I got my first full-time job, and when I'm finally earning my money, I asked myself, like, how will I be a good manager of the money that I currently have? So I kept on watching from YouTube how to budget, how to save, how to invest also. But one thing that as the sons of God, as Christians, right? One thing that we really need to do, even with our allowances and our salaries, is tithing, right? And another is seeding. But practically, what should we really do with just, for example, you get your salary and then you have one whole month for another salary again. And then once you get the salary, like the bags on the side are sparkling. And then Shein or like online shopping is also sparkling.
For translation, it's like
Chanel.
video games and action figures or Lego.
Like shoes are also sparkling.
Yeah.
So it's like you really are tempted to spend, to shop, and to really buy something because you have money to spend. So what I do is that I separate my savings first. Of course, I separate the tithes first, and then I separate my savings before I really spend. And then from the money that I currently can see, because sometimes it's just with the mind that if you see large amount, you'll feel like, oh, I can spend so much with this. But if you separate your savings already, if you separate part of your money already, and you can only see another part of your money, then you'll be forced to, oh, I only have this to spend, so I really need to just spend this or below this, right? So with that is one way that I am trying to apply how to be a good steward of our finances, especially that we are already, like I am, not we are, like I am already working. So that also should come with like how can I be effective in stewarding my money? That money should also be multiplying, right? So whenever, like, as months pass by, as years goes by, it shouldn't just be spent, but it should also be multiplied. So how it should be multiplied? By feeding to people around us, to the church, and also by investing. In this part, I'm still trying to go and explore the investing part. But surely, guys, if you go into this stage already, one thing that you should do when you have your money, like a very big money that you have, is to honor your pastors, your leaders, and most especially your parents with it. Yes.
Amen and amen. Thank you, Arapia, for that wonderful piece of advice that you're giving. Even though you're living that life right now, for all of us, that's like a pre-warning, like a revelation to come soon enough. But with that being said, let's continue on with the last part, is our conclusions. And to make this more fun, we're gonna do it in like 3 words or just one phrase, okay? Let's start with left to right. Ezekiel.
So it's not just about spending money, but it's about how you're spending it, where you're spending it, and why you're spending it.
That's more than 3 words.
Responsibility, finance, bros.
Action figures, job, God.
Trust, finances, faith.
I'm trying to think while you guys are talking, but I cannot think of any. Crew. That's 3 words. Okay. Okay. What's the word if you look back and then you appreciate and then you gratefulness is the word I've been trying. Gratefulness, humility, and wisdom.
Well. Each and every one of you had amazing words to say, especially you, Ezekiel. You got a lot of words to say for that one. But unfortunately, or fortunately, really how we put it, but this wraps up our episode for today. I hope you all enjoyed it, but remember, before you go, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and ring that little bell notification so that you'll be notified when season 5 drops. With that being said, this is the start of a 2026 for all of us, so make sure that you keep your money going well and nice. With that being said, we are Kiel's Elves!
Be wise, guys. Woo!